The Endrick Dilemma: Youth, Ambition, and the Weight of the Real Madrid Shirt. Madridistas, let us begin with the first great bombshell of this new era. What is happening with Endrick is not merely a matter of sports planning, nor is it just about squad management and minutes on the pitch. No, this is something bigger. This is a duel between youth and ambition, between raw talent and ruthless expectation, between the hunger of an 18-year-old prodigy and the colossal burden of wearing the most demanding jersey in world football, that of Real Madrid. Endrick, the young Brazilian wonder kid, arrived in the Spanish capital surrounded by a whirlwind of anticipation. Signed at just 18 years old, he was heralded as the next great jewel to open a new cycle at the Santiago Bernabéu. His transfer was not simply about acquiring a footballer. It was a statement, a declaration of intent to the footballing world. Real Madrid does not just compete in the present, it invests in the future. The operation was both financial and symbolic. It said, with resounding clarity, the new generation begins now. The story of his arrival immediately evoked memories of the great South American stars who had previously defined eras in Chamartin. One cannot help but recall the thunderous goals of Ronaldo Nazario, the explosive dribbles of Robinho in his first season, the dazzling rise of Vinícius Jr., or the consistency of Rodrigo Goes. Each of these names came to Madrid young, inexperienced, and untested at the highest level, and each, through struggle and resilience, etched their names into the club's history. Endrick, too, comes carrying that torch, ready, or at least determined, to write his own legend. But it didn't take long before the first debate erupted. Even before he had truly settled into the rhythms of Madrid life, questions began swirling. What should be the plan for this boy's development? Should Endrick remain in the capital from day one, growing in the shadows of stars like Mbappe, Bellingham, and Vinícius, even if that means limited minutes and patience-testing nights on the bench? Or should he be sent on loan, entrusted to a club with lower stakes and lighter pressure, where he could play freely, make mistakes, and gain experience without the merciless glare of Madrid's spotlight? From a strictly logical perspective, many in the club's sporting department considered the second option more prudent. A loan, they argued, would allow Endrick to build confidence, earn regular starts, and return as a more complete footballer. It would shield him from the suffocating intensity of the Bernabéu, from the daily pressure cooker that has swallowed countless prodigies before him. It seemed like the careful, rational path. But then came the voice of Endrick himself, clear, firm, and uncompromising. He does not want a loan. He does not want detours. He does not want a halfway house or a transition project. He wants Madrid. He wants the Bernabéu. He wants to prove, from day one, that he is capable of standing tall in the most unforgiving environment in football. His decision, backed firmly by his entourage, has ignited an unrelenting debate. Fans, analysts, and journalists are split down the middle. On one hand, skeptics warn that 18 years old is far too young to endure the suffocating demands of Real Madrid. They argue that the club devours those who are not fully formed, that its expectations are merciless, that mistakes are not seen as part of growth but as weaknesses to be exposed. They remind us of countless young stars who never fulfilled their potential precisely because they were thrown into the fire too soon. For them, caution is wisdom. Time is an ally. Growth requires patience. On the other side, however, stand those who believe greatness is forged in fire, not comfort. They claim that the true champions of this game thrive on difficulty, on pressure, on the suffocating intensity that would crush others. And if Real Madrid is indeed the greatest stage in world football, then what better classroom could Endrick have than training every day with Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Vinícius Jr., and a squad filled with serial winners? Why should he hide from the challenge, when it is precisely this environment that could elevate him from prodigy to phenomenon? The player himself seems to embody this second philosophy. His refusal to accept a loan is not mere stubbornness, it is a declaration of character. It is a statement of intent. He wants the hardest path, the steepest climb, the brightest spotlight. He understands that the shirt of Real Madrid is not just another jersey. It is history, expectation, and glory woven into white fabric. And he wants to carry it now. This mindset, though risky, speaks volumes. Endrick is not content with the safety net. He does not want excuses or detours. His courage excites many, for it recalls the fearless attitude of those who came before him and succeeded precisely because they never feared the challenge. And make no mistake, should he survive the suffocating pressure of this environment and take advantage of the few precious opportunities that will surely come his way, Endrick has the potential not only to become a great player, but to become a symbol of Madridismo itself, an emblem of faith, audacity, and belief. The fan base is torn. The cautious urge protection. They see a boy barely entering adulthood, and they fear burnout, disillusionment, or a career cut short before it even truly begins. They argue that Real Madrid must nurture its jewel, polish it slowly, and not throw it against the granite wall of expectation all at once. The dreamers, meanwhile, feel the opposite. They crave to see the boy on the stage now. They believe in his hunger, in his defiance, in his readiness. For them, Madrid is not a place for waiting. Madrid is a place for proving. This tension is not new. Throughout history, Real Madrid has lived on this knife edge between caution and audacity, between protecting talent and unleashing it. Sometimes the patient path has prevailed. Other times, the risk has yielded legends. The story of Endrick, therefore, is not just his own. It is a chapter in the eternal story of the club itself, the battle between present and future, between fear and faith. And so, Madridistas, we stand at the beginning of a tale that promises twists, passion, and fierce debate. Will Endrick carve out a place for himself in the most competitive squad in world football, fighting for minutes among titans? Or will he, perhaps, be sent on a path of patience, alone to grow stronger before returning to conquer? Only time will reveal the answer. But one thing is undeniable. The Endrick story has already begun, and it will not be a quiet one. Whether triumph or struggle, whether immediate glory or slow-burn growth, his journey promises to captivate, to divide, and to electrify the Santiago Bernabéu. Because here, under these lights, with this crest upon his chest, nothing is ever ordinary. We now move on to the second bombshell of the market, Madridistas, and this time it is all about the defense. In football, attacks may win games, but defenses win titles, and in the heart of this discussion lies a name that has started echoing through the marble corridors of the Santiago Bernabéu with increasing intensity: Ibrahima Konate, the French central defender currently playing for Liverpool. His contractual situation on Merseyside has opened the door to speculation, fueling rumors that a new defensive titan could soon wear the most iconic shirt in world football. A defender built for the highest level. Konate is not just another name on a scouting list. He is a central defender with all the hallmarks of an elite player destined for greatness. Standing close to 2 meters tall, his imposing physique immediately catches the eye. But what makes him special is that he combines this physical dominance with extraordinary footballing intelligence. He has the tactical awareness to anticipate situations before they develop, the speed to match even the fastest forwards in transition, and the technical composure to play the ball out of the back under pressure. He has already proven his worth in 2 of the most unforgiving competitions on the planet. The Premier League, where the physical and mental demands test every player week after week, and the UEFA Champions League, the tournament where careers are defined and legacies are written. Time and again, Konate has stepped up on the biggest stages, neutralizing world-class strikers and demonstrating the calmness of a veteran despite his age. At just 25, he is entering the perfect phase of his career, young enough to grow further, yet experienced enough to command a defense at the very highest level. Real Madrid's strategic vision. Real Madrid are well aware of these qualities. The club that has always prided itself on being a step ahead in the transfer market is following Konate's contractual situation at Liverpool with laser focus. His current deal has not been extended, and while Liverpool continue to value him as a key figure in their defensive setup, the absence of a clear agreement only increases speculation about his future. The Madrid board has already circled 2026 on its calendar. That year could be decisive. Should negotiations between Konate and Liverpool continue to stall, the French defender might become available on a free transfer. For Florentino Perez and his directors, such a scenario would represent an extraordinary opportunity, securing one of the best central defenders in the world without paying a transfer fee. It would be the kind of move that combines sporting ambition with financial prudence, the hallmark of Real Madrid's strategy in the modern era. The obstacles ahead. Of course, nothing is ever simple in the transfer market. Liverpool will do everything in their power to keep Konate. He is central to their defensive plans and has the admiration of both the coaching staff and the fans. Beyond Anfield, other European giants will inevitably circle like sharks, aware of the rare chance to secure a defender of this caliber. Clubs from Italy, Germany, Spain, and even within the Premier League will likely show interest if Konate does not renew. Yet there is one factor that outweighs them all: the unique pull of Real Madrid. No matter how strong the financial offers, No matter how ambitious the sporting projects elsewhere, there is no other club on earth that can offer what it means to play for Madrid. The weight of history, the prestige of the badge, the aura of the Santiago Bernabéu, and above all, the possibility of etching one's name into footballing eternity, these are things that cannot be bought or replicated. The emotional dimension. For players of true ambition, joining Real Madrid represents the summit of a career. It is not just about signing for a club, it is about entering an institution that transcends sport. To wear the white shirt is to follow in the footsteps of legends like Alfredo Di Stefano, Fernando Hierro, Sergio Ramos, and Cristiano Ronaldo. It is to participate in a story larger than oneself, one that continues to inspire millions around the globe. Konate surely understands this. He must know that Madrid is not simply a team, but a destination, the final stage where players transform into icons. He has the opportunity to step into the role of leader, to become the commander of a defensive line that is being carefully rebuilt for the next decade. Just as Sergio Ramos once grew into the heartbeat of Madrid's defense, and as Raphael Varane became a model of consistency and success, Konate could be the next Frenchman to dominate the Bernabéu stage. Fitting into Madrid's defense. From a tactical perspective, the signing of Konate would be more than just an addition, it would be a transformation. Real Madrid currently boast a mix of defenders with unique qualities. Antonio Rudiger, fierce, aggressive, and uncompromising; Eder Militao, quick, versatile, and athletic; David Alaba, calm on the ball and tactically adaptable. However, injuries and age have raised questions about the long-term stability of the backline. Konate offers the perfect blend of attributes to complement this defensive core. Paired with Rudiger, Madrid would have a physically dominant duo capable of overwhelming even the strongest opponents. Next to Militao, Konate's positioning and tactical discipline could free the Brazilian to play with more aggression. With Alaba, his aerial strength would compensate for the Austrian's lack of height. In short, Konate fits seamlessly into multiple defensive configurations, giving Carlo Ancelotti, or his successor, enormous flexibility in shaping the team's identity. The voice of the fans. The Madridistas, never shy in expressing their opinions, have already started debating. Some argue that Florentino Perez should act decisively, securing Konate before other clubs step in. They see him as the natural heir to Ramos and Varane, a cornerstone who could guarantee defensive solidity for years to come. Others urge caution, pointing out that Madrid already have defensive depth and that resources might be better spent on other areas of the squad. Yet even among the skeptics, there is no denying the excitement. Every rumor, every report from England, every whisper from journalists only fuels the sense of anticipation. Social media lights up with speculation, fan forums buzz with arguments, and talk shows dedicate entire segments to the possibility of Konate arriving at the Bernabéu. Whether for or against, everyone is talking about it, and that alone speaks to the magnitude of the potential transfer. A club that shapes legends. History shows us that Real Madrid always acts with boldness when the moment is right. While other clubs hesitate, Madrid makes its move. It happened with Cristiano Ronaldo, who arrived from Manchester United and redefined the club's modern era. It happened with Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, midfield signings that at the time were questioned but ultimately became the backbone of European domination. More recently, it happened with Jude Bellingham, a prodigy who chose Madrid over all others and has already begun to inscribe his name in white letters. Konate could very well be the next chapter in this tradition. He has the profile, the potential, and the character to become more than just a signing, to become a symbol of Madrid's defensive strength in the years to come. Imagine him lifting Champions League trophies, leading by example, and commanding respect from teammates and rivals alike. That is the dream, and at Real Madrid, dreams often have a way of becoming reality. Conclusion. The next masterstroke? The pieces are on the table, the story is unfolding, and the future is uncertain. But one thing is clear, Ibrahima Konate to Real Madrid is a possibility that cannot be ignored. It has all the elements of a classic Madrid move: ambition, strategy, drama, and the promise of greatness. Whether it happens in 2026 or sooner, whether through a free transfer or a bold purchase, the idea alone has already ignited the imagination of Madridistas around the world. Because at the Bernabéu, it is never just about signing a player. It is about shaping history, building legends, and continuing the legacy of the greatest football club of all time. And perhaps, just perhaps, Konate is destined to be the next great name to write his chapter in white. And so we arrive, Madridistas, at the closing chapter of this story, the grand finale, the revelation that resonates louder than any headline before it. Because when we speak about Vinícius Jr., we are not merely mentioning another footballer, another promising young forward, or even another star in a constellation of greats. No. We are invoking a symbol, an icon, the very embodiment of a new age in Real Madrid's history. His name has become synonymous with energy, speed, audacity, and that uncompromising spirit that has always defined the club's identity. Over the past days, however, a storm has gathered. Whispers have turned into headlines, and headlines into heated debates. An astronomical offer has surfaced for Vinícius Jr. A proposal of such financial magnitude that it shakes the very foundations of Real Madrid. A figure so colossal that, on paper, it could rewrite budgets, reshape transfer strategies, and redefine the future of the club for years to come. But as tempting as it may look to accountants, the implications go far beyond numbers in a ledger. This is not merely a question of money. This is a battle between economics and emotion, between financial temptation and sporting legacy. The central question is as clear as it is tormenting. What weighs more? The staggering sum offered by a foreign powerhouse, or the unquantifiable value of a player who has become the banner, the living heartbeat, of the club's project? Because Vinícius is not just a lethal attacker, not just a winger who terrorizes defenses with pace and skill. He is much more. He is a story of resilience, of transformation, of defiance against doubt. Arriving in Madrid as a teenager, he was criticized, mocked, dismissed for his lack of finishing and composure. Yet he never cowered, never surrendered. Instead, he fought. He worked relentlessly, honing his technique, sharpening his instincts, and polishing his once raw potential into something devastating. He grew into the man who scores decisive goals, the man who defines nights under the Champions League lights, the man who turns jeers into thunderous applause. His departure would not simply leave a tactical void on the left flank. It would carve a chasm in the club's identity, a hole in the emotional bond between team and supporters. Because Vinícius Jr. has transcended statistics. He has become a symbol of belief, of determination, of the Madridismo spirit itself. The board knows this all too well. Florentino Perez and the leadership of Real Madrid understand that Vinícius is more than an athlete. He is a global brand, a marketing force, a player whose name resonates across continents. He connects with new generations of fans in Brazil, in Asia, in Africa, in the United States. He represents the global reach of Real Madrid in the 21st century, a face for the future as much as a weapon in the present. And let us not forget, Vinícius himself has repeatedly professed his love for the club. Time and again, he has declared his desire to stay, to keep winning trophies in white, to etch his name into the pantheon alongside legends like Di Stefano, Raúl, Cristiano Ronaldo. Yet football, cruel and unpredictable, often rewrites destinies in an instant. The modern game is a theater of sudden twists, of contracts worth fortunes, of state-backed clubs with limitless resources rewriting the rules of competition. One phone call, one staggering bid, one signature, and everything changes. What feels eternal can be dismantled in a matter of days. And so, the fans wait. In the stands of the Santiago Bernabéu, in pennies scattered across the globe, in living rooms from Madrid to Manila, Madridistas are divided. For many, Vinícius is untouchable, beyond price. They argue that there is no number on earth capable of compensating for his impact, not only on the pitch, where his dribbles and goals electrify, but in the soul of the club, where his fight and joy embody everything that makes Real Madrid what it is. To sell him, they say, would be an unforgivable mistake, a wound that money cannot heal. Others take a more pragmatic view. They remind us that Real Madrid has always known how to evolve. The departures of Cristiano Ronaldo, of Zidane, even of Di Stefano in his time, all seemed like catastrophic losses, yet the club endured, adapted, and found new heroes. Football, they argue, is a cycle. Legends depart, and new legends rise. Perhaps, just perhaps, accepting an unprecedented transfer fee could open doors to reinforce the squad elsewhere, to secure the financial stability of the project for a decade, to invest in future superstars waiting to be born. And so the debate rages. Anxiety fills the air, uncertainty seeps into every conversation. The question looms: will Real Madrid resist the temptation, staying true to tradition, clinging tightly to the jewel that has become its face? Or will it succumb to the sheer force of numbers, authorizing a move that could shock the footballing world? One thing, however, is undeniable. This story is far from over. In truth, it may be only beginning. The decision made in the coming months will mark a turning point, not just in the career of Vinícius Jr., but in the trajectory of Real Madrid itself. Because when a player becomes more than a player, when he embodies the philosophy, the energy, the hope of millions, his fate becomes intertwined with the destiny of the institution he represents. Vinícius Jr. is not just another footballer. He is defiance. He is brilliance. He is proof that criticism can be fuel, that obstacles can become stepping stones, that doubt can be silenced by determination. He is the living spirit of modern Madridismo, and his future will echo far beyond the transfer market. Whatever the outcome, one truth remains eternal. Real Madrid is a club of legends, a club of moments, a club where history is constantly written and rewritten. And the chapter of Vinícius Jr., whether it continues or takes a shocking turn, will forever remain one of the defining stories of this era. Because this, Madridistas, is not just business. It is identity. It is legacy. It is the soul of football.